Good morning, y'all. Welcome to No Gear Get Up. We are back, and let's go ahead and get this thing going. We're going to start with some movement after we get a little bit of water. All right, friends, let's wake thing up in a tall kneeling position. Tall kneeling. So try and get your toes down just to start. And once your toes are down, I want you to sit as low as you can. Now, this is my first movement of the day. One excuse. Second excuse here is that I am not the best at toe movement, toe mobility, and knee flexion. So I want to work on it. And just doing this tall kneeling, yes, Nala, thank you very much. She knows that we're going to be gone for the weekend. But working on this tall kneeling position helps me get into those extra spaces that I need to get to, or I guess those deeper ranges. This girl loves doing this. So I'm just going to keep pushing, being active here, and I can feel myself getting lower every single time. And just letting gravity take its place. Look at her. She's going crazy. I'm going to tell you a fun fact about Nala. She is like a dog. She slobbers a lot. It's pretty crazy. All right, we're gonna go to a tall half kneeling. I like to call this, I guess, more of like a dragon. There's plenty of names for it, but I want that back knee as far back as possible. And we want lots of range for this forward leg. But I want to keep that toe forward, foot flat, or engaged, I should say. Arch is there. And then I'm just going to try and push it as far forward as possible to stay tall. Right. So really what I'm focusing on here is hip extension, squeezing my glute. I am getting a lot of hip flexion, but not as much hip flexion as I would be hip extension here because I'm so tall. Try and reach just a little bit further with your chest. Keep the arms where they are. You can hold. You can rotate a little bit. You can wiggle. You can whatever feels good. Thank you, Nala. You see her back there? She's going crazy. It's your favorite thing to do. Just fall on the ground. All right, let's go and switch sides. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that tall kneeling, half kneeling, little dragon pose, if you will, lizard pose. And then again, just push forward and squeeze, nestle in that position, find it, and then just stay tall, but try and keep that chest long, forward. Breathe. Again, you can wiggle side to side. Perfect. And once you finish a few breaths here, and just again, living in the moment, being fine with where we are, just letting the body adjust. We're going to go ahead and go to a cat-cow, cat-camel. We normally do these, and since we have a cat with us, we might as well get to him. So hands underneath chest and shoulders, knees underneath hips. And then from here, remember, we're just going to try and go for as much flexion of the spine as possible. Take a second, and then wiggle in to some extension. Head up. Notice my toes are down. Now come back to that flexion again, and let's do a little bit of lateral bending, right? So I'm trying to close the gap between my rib cage and the top of my hip. And I'm really just trying to force all of my vertebrae to move side to side after being shoved into this flex position. Let's go ahead and try that now with the extension. So I'm going to slowly work my way into the other side. And now we go, ow, left to right. Watch out, Nolly, you got nails. Keep your head up. Good, working on that spine. Should feel great. Listen to what your body's trying to tell you. If it's hurting, right? Hey, don't go that far. I'm gonna switch to my fist here because Nala keeps trying to scratch my fingers. Crazy cat. Perfect. Now that we've done that, let's sit down to a child's pose. We're going to go to an angled child's pose. So we're going to try and reach to a 45-degree angle. Okay. Now, again, if you can sit on your heels, fantastic. If not, you can widen up those knees. Again, it's really not a huge deal here how low you get to the ground, as long as you're low for what your body's giving you. Now, let's go ahead and reach out to that child's pose. And once we're here, just let's define this with the breath. I can already feel my lats tightening up. I'm gonna go thumbs up. Take a big breath here. Perfect. Now I get to nestle and relax a little bit. I'm gonna take that left arm, go to 45 degrees from the body. Doesn't need to be exact. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and follow it up with the other hand. Stack the two on top of each other. Let the head rest. And you should feel your right side if you're going towards the left. Again, I'm going towards the left. I feel my right lat. Now, after a few breaths, let's slowly take it back. Crawl your way over, back to neutral. Excuse me, Nala. Thank you. And then we're going to go ahead and take those hands and go to that same angle on the other side, and then stack that left hand. Buddy, they can't see. There you go. Take a few breaths here. Again, really trying to fill up that space, that air in that rib cage, in that lung cavity. One more breath. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take it to that tall kneeling position again. And from here, if you want to just sit down all the way, that's totally fine because we're going to start to work on the neck, the cervical spine to finish it off. So, again, the C spine is a delicate spot for most, and it doesn't move very far, which is totally fine. We want to try and think about what it can do. So, a left to right movement, just left to right in that rotation. It's going to help get this little muscle called the SCM located at the side of your neck, again, base of your neck to the bottom of your ear. But it's the muscle responsible for making sure our heads don't fall off the top of our head. It helps a little bit with this rotational pattern as well. Now let's go ahead and keep the heads forward. Let's go with a side to side, so a lateral bend or lateral shift. This one is going to get your scalenes, typically found on the back side of your neck. Do you see this cat right now? She's having some attention issues. She knows that we're going to be leaving for the weekend. Good, keep going. Hey, buddy, that's enough. Now let's go up and down. And these are going to be all those other neck muscles that are really helpful with just, again, keeping the head on top of our body, preparing for any impact or any quick jolts. And one thing I do want to share with you, team, is something I've been working on that I guess is a little bit in relation to this, but let's think about head position really fast, and this will be our last piece, is standing, sitting, any position. When we're on our phones, where do we go? Right? Typically, we're working here. And something that you might have heard of is the phrase called tech neck. And obviously, the technology that we use, computers, cell phones, video games, whatever they may be, we have an abundance of them. Well, now our necks are forced in this downward position. And what typically happens that we don't notice is that there is a buildup of pressure. And every angle that you push that head forward, the more pounds of pressure it's going to add on to the spine. And eventually that's going to start to shape the spine a little bit and possibly lead to a few issues. So, one thing that we can do to combat that is just think about a forward gaze, right? If I'm here, cell phone right here, I know it might look funny, but it's something that I've been practicing, especially when for example, maybe in the sauna at the gym, or if I'm working on a little bit of cardio and I don't need to necessarily know what I'm doing, I can just kind of freely move. Well, okay, I have my phone right here, got a little pop socket, but I want to keep that so my gaze is forward the entire time. Again, I'm not always going to keep the best perfect head position, right? Tucking the chin, making sure it's completely neutral, but I am going to prevent the ease of getting to this position and how I can already feel the strain in the middle of my back with my head down. All right, y'all. My name is Coach Jeremy. Thank you so much. No Gear Get Up. That was a lot of fun with my assistant, Nala. If you would like her, you can take her. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend.